Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Eagles Latest on Fan Arch. I am your host, as always, of course, Blake McQueary, and obviously, we are recapping the Eagles' win against the Kansas City Chiefs, 20-17 in Arrowhead Stadium. The Eagles start the 2025 slate off 2-0. Perfect so far. Is the gameplay perfect? Not so much. We will get into that, though, in just a little bit. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to recap from that Chiefs game. A big, big win for the Eagles on the road in Arrowhead. That is never an ideal place to play. That is never an ideal place to go and get wins. So, Eagles obviously did that, got the job done. They start off 2-0. First up, what we have is we're going to talk a little bit about the rookie, Andrew Makuba Magic, I like to call it, after his performance against the Chiefs. It was an up and down performance for Andrew Makuba, but the stats show that he had a tremendous game and he made a huge impact for this Eagles team and Eagles defense. He finished with 6 total tackles, a half a sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 1 QB hit. Now, the 2 plays that stood out and were huge difference makers in Makuba's performance, the blitz sack. That was his sack. And then I think Ajomo and one other guy come up, fall on Mahomes with him. Obviously, it counts as a half sack there. But that was tremendous hustle by Andrew Makuba. But it was also tremendous game calling, play calling by Vic Fangio, who we will talk about in a little bit, as you can see there. But the blitz sack was huge in that situation. Was huge in that moment for the Eagles. And Makuba executed it perfectly. Like I said, he had perfect hustle on that. Hit the gap perfectly, got on Mahomes, got his hands on Mahomes. Nothing else you can ask for there. The other one, the play that won the Eagles the game, hands down, the interception. The Travis Kelce missing the catch, Andrew Makuba being there in the perfect place at the perfect time to catch the ball, get about, what was it, about a 70-yard, 60-yard return, 70-yard return there to set the Eagles offense up for perfect field advantage. That was the play of the day. That was absolutely the play of the day by Andrew Makuba. There is no doubt about it. That play reminds me of the fumble from last week against Dallas when Miles Sanders, Jahad Campbell, and Byron Young obviously get their hands in there, force a Miles Sanders fumble, recovered by Quinyon Mitchell. That was what that play reminded me of right there. And if you, as a defense, can come up with plays like that in situations like you've been in the past 2 games, that is huge. It says a lot about your personnel. It says a lot about how tough you are as a unit, as a defense. It shows mentally that you are not wavered, because the Chiefs were literally driving down to go up in that game. And I believe if the Chiefs got that touchdown, it might have been lights out for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just gonna say it right there. It 100% might have been lights out. That was scary. That was a scary drive for them. But like I said, a huge play. And you also, I wouldn't fault the Eagles defense too much for that play, because obviously it was like everyone's, if Travis Kelce didn't drop that pass, then the Chiefs go up and, whatever. That is true. But another thing is true, that there was a very tight window there for Mahomes to make that throw into Travis Kelce's hands. And that credit goes to the Eagles defense in the secondary and the coverage on that play. Absolutely. They forced for a tight window there for Mahomes to slip it into Kelce. Kelce obviously butterfingers the football, and the Eagles live to see another day. Well, sets the Eagles up on offense for, obviously a few plays, a tush push, touchdown. then the Eagles fight to see another day. But yeah, that was really all I had on Andrew Makuba. I think, like I said, it was an up and down performance. His tackling definitely needs to be improved. That was a hell of a truck he took. But then again, speaks to toughness. You get back up and you play some football and you make a difference, and that's what he did. So, shout out to Andrew Makuba. I believe he was the MVP on the day for the Eagles defense. He made the plays necessary and obviously made the play of the day to win the game for the Eagles. Now, let's move over to his play caller, Vic Fangio. I don't know what just went on with that light right there, but disregard that. Vic Fangio. That's how good Vic Fangio is. He's making the lights flicker in here, okay? It's scary. It's scary how good Fangio is, all right? It gets scary when Fangio comes around the block. Yeah, it gets scary when Fangio comes around the block. God Fangio. Vic Fangio on this defense. Round of a damn applause. Round of a damn applause. Round of a damn applause. Obviously, you can always make improvements. We'll talk about that in a second. But call that man God Fangio. That is a coordinator that knows how to make some adjustments. And we're going to talk about coordinators here. As you can see on the ticker, we're going to talk about coordinators. That is a coordinator who knows how to make adjustments. What stuck out to everybody, stuck out to me, stuck out to everybody. I want to recall it, though. Patrick Mahomes was killing this defense in the first half with his legs. 50 rushing yards in the first half and a rushing touchdown. That was the story of the first half. That's what everybody was talking about, was Mahomes making it happen for the Chiefs, putting the team on his back. He literally was. He literally was. He was a one-man army out there. I mean, him and obviously later on Travis Kelce gets going, things like that. But Mahomes was Mahomes. No one should be surprised about that. Obviously struggled a little bit, but that was the story of the first half. Killing the Eagles defense. He finished the game, though, and this is why I say you make adjustments, you win games. He finished the game with 66 total rushing yards. Went into the half with 50 rushing yards, finished with 66. So you obviously, you see what I'm getting at here. You make adjustments, you adjust the coverage, you adjust the spy game on Mahomes. That's what happens. The pass rush, exceptional. I said that was the key for the Eagles all week long last week. I said that was going to be the difference maker for this Eagles team, this Eagles defense, was the pass rush. They startled Mahomes a few times. A few times. That disrupted the pass game. That forced an extinct run game for the Chiefs as well. They had no run game. The Chiefs had absolutely no run game. They could not run the football against that Eagles defense. Absolutely not. And you've seen it down in the down late game in the stretch in crunch time. They had no choice but to throw the football. They had no choice at all but to throw the football. They could not run the football at all, unless it was like a Mahomes scramble. But he wasn't getting much of those in the second half because the adjustments that were made by Vic Fangio and that defense. And that is what makes them so dangerous. At the end of the day, they have talent on that defense. Obviously, there's a few gaps. We're going to get into that too. Don't worry. But it's it's one of the best defenses in the league. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It's one of the best defenses in the league, 100%. Now, that late touchdown made things scary. Obviously, yes. That was not a schematical error on Fangio's part, though. A lot of people want to also throw a little shade at Quinyon Mitchell for that play. Was not Quinyon Mitchell's fault at all. I believe that was on Reed Blankenship. He had a little bluff there on that play. It happens. Unfortunately, the play he gets a bluff on was just a deep shot to the end zone to make things a little scary there for the Eagles. But I think it was on Blankenship. Might have been on Zach Bond or Jahad Campbell. Maybe. I still have to go rewatch that play again to see who the blame goes to there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The Eagles persevere. The defense did what they needed to do in crunch time, got stops, and they got wins. Like I said, improvements are still to be made, though. Secondary, got to do something about that secondary. Absolutely have to do something about secondary. They have to be better. They have to get better. I think we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk. And I think you can guess. I think you can guess in the secondary what we're going to talk about. But I just talked about Makuba. Obviously, like I said, his tackling needs to be improved a little bit. Overall, his game can be improved a little bit. He's a rookie. This is his second regular season game. Cut him some slack. Like I said, Makuba was the player of the game for the defense. But improvements are still to be made, though. And that's what it is. That's football. The Eagles will do it. Vic Fangio will do it. Have faith. I have faith in Vic Fangio. So he's going to get it done. Someone I am not really having faith in. And Eagles fans, I was reading it all game long during the Chiefs game. I was reading everything, reading the tweets. They're calling this man worse than worse than Brian Johnson. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. I don't. A lot of people didn't think they could get back to that bad. It's worse. It's worse. Kevin Patullo is struggling as an offensive play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles. 100%. And I'm frustrated too, as somebody who covers this team. When you cover a team, you make content about the team weekly. I mean, you want to see them have success. It's not fun to talk about bad football teams. I don't want to talk about a bad football team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll do it. I love football, so I'll do it, but I don't want to. You never want to do that. So I'm with you here on Eagles fans. I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you. They're struggling. The offense is struggling. Anybody can see that the offense is struggling. I think my girlfriend, who has watched maybe 30 total minutes of football in her life, can watch even a half of Eagles football and see that their offense is just not that good right now. I mean, it looked worse than last week. And I did not think it was going to look worse than last week. I mean, you give them some slack, though. This is obviously a Chiefs defense that is better than the Cowboys defense in Arrowhead Stadium. You're on the road. Like, you give them some slack there. But they are better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys just gave up 37 points to the New York Giants today. Yesterday. This is going to come out on Monday, so yeah. But I don't know. Passing game was better, but was it really better? No, it really wasn't. I mean, Jalen Hurts had less passing yards this week than last week. You get your guys involved more, but there's a lack in this passing game, a huge lack in this passing game, and it's not good. It's not good. The Chiefs defense, they blitz frequently, though. That is a Steve Spagnuolo defense. That is what he does. It's no surprise. Now, that leaves a very light zone coverage or man, causes for the pass game to open up. So what you've seen today on successful pass plays was not Kevin Patullo. It was the guys that you had on that field that are experienced, are great football players, not good football players, great football players, and can capitalize when they see an advantage. I mean, thank God for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. Saquon Barkley, obviously, but we're talking about the pass game right now. Thank God for those three guys. There is no creativity in this pass game. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I legitimately think that my high school football team's passing game was more creative than what the Eagles have right now. Jalen Hurts has all the time in the world to give the ball up. He has all the time in the world. He has literally, I think a snail could slither a 100-meter race and he'd be finished. Jalen Hurts still would have time to throw the football. Why in the hell is Jalen Hurts holding the ball for 5 seconds plus and throwing a check down? That is not a player error. That is not a Jalen Hurts error. That is not whoever's running that check down error. That is a Kevin Patullo error. That is a lack of offense creativity error. That is what that is. That is a schematical error. There is no world where Jalen Hurts has more time than ever to throw the football and he's throwing a check down. That should not happen. That is not good. That is not a good sign at all. Absolutely not. And some who don't know ball, they're going to, why can't they get open? No. That's not how things work. That's not how football works. I don't think the average eye of football realizes how important utilizing the route tree is. You have to be able to create concepts off of that. You have to. Peyton Manning literally just did a segment about it. Go and look it up on YouTube. The wide receiver route tree. Just did a full segment on it. Utilizing it. You have to create concepts off of that. That is how you break zone coverages. That's how you do it. I know. Like this is it. I'm speechless. You can see I'm speechless right now. I'm at a loss of words. I really am. Like, this is on Kevin Patullo. He has to look in the mirror and he has to be better. He has to. The middle of the field isn't even being used. The middle of the field is not being used. The success plays that were found against the Chiefs, a lot of them came outside numbers. Like 95% of those came outside the numbers. Outside the numbers, success plays are credited to the players who are on the field. Outside the numbers, success plays are not credited to NOC. No. None of that's schematical. None of that. He ran a stick on 3rd and 10. Do you know a stick on 3rd and 10? What a stick is, your two guys on the outside, they're going fly routes. Your two guys who are in the slot, they're running 5-yard out routes. 5-yard out routes. You have 10 yards you need to gain. And you're running 5-yard. There's no one should be running a 5-yard out route on a 3rd and 10. That should not happen. That shouldn't happen. And then you get outgained. Your offense got outgained and you won the game. Which speaks, again, a lot to the defense, like I just talked about in Vic Fangio and their toughness. They had, let me, so I can get this number right. Let's look at the total yards of offense. 216 total yards of offense by the Philadelphia Eagles. 294 the Chiefs had. Outgained by an offense who had literally Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. A washed Travis Kelce. Like, you watch Travis Kelce play football these past 2 games, he's washed. I'm going to say it. He is. He's washed. He is focused on, I'm not even going to say bigger and better things because we're not talking about that. That is insane. That is insane. And a lot of people also want to talk about Kevin Patullo. Give him some time. Offense takes time. You look at the past few seasons. The offense started slow. I get that. But it shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't. Especially from an in-house guy. Kevin Patullo is an in-house guy. He was there last year. He is an in-house guy. You didn't learn anything from Kellen Moore. You couldn't take anything from Kellen Moore. Anything? Nothing? I don't know. That's my spiel on Kevin Patullo. Eagles fans, I know. I'm with you. Now, a few pros and cons we're gonna cover. We're gonna do this after every game. Um, Pros and cons from the Eagles' win against the Chiefs. First pro, the Eagles' offense, like I just talked about, was terrible. But on the other side of things, let's look at the bright side. Let's look at the positive. They still got the job done. That speaks to the mental toughness of this team, especially the offense. Think about it. When Kevin Patullo does get things figured out, if he does get things figured out within the passing game, think about how dangerous this team is going to be. I will confidently say if that passing game gets even an arm's length away from what Kellen Moore's was, this team goes 17-0. I can say that with full confidence. Full confidence. Now, obviously, it's still early in the year. You don't know exactly who everyone's going to be by week 18, but the run game's phenomenal. I mean, well, let me slow down. Let me slow down. Let me slow down there. That was crazy. That was crazy. Phenomenal. I might be pushing it, but it's good. The offensive line is good. So it's the pass game. It's terrible, and that's what's causing the Eagles offense to not look good at all. But they're still getting the job done. That speaks to the mental toughness of this team. That speaks to how talented they are and how good they can be. Another pro, Zadarius Smith. Howie's done it again. Howie has done it again. Howie Houdini. That's what we call him on this channel. Howie Houdini. He's done it again. Zadarius Smith in his Eagles debut, 4 total tackles, half a sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. That is a difference maker. That is the stat line of a difference maker right there. And I talked about it a little bit when I covered in the episode that I covered Zadarius Smith getting signed. The difference he can make for this defense, he's showing it. And he showed it in his debut. Also, his sideline energy and leadership, phenomenal. He is a great person. Zadarius Smith is a great person, a great teammate. You can tell. So, those are my pros. Cons. False starts on the tush push. They got to be better. Got to be better. They got away with like 3 in crunch time. That could have been very bad if they got called. They got to be better. They absolutely have to be better. They do. I think everyone's starting to realize it now. Listen, false starts have been happening on the tush push for seasons. 3 in one game in crunch time. I don't know if I've seen that yet from the Eagles offensive line when it comes to tush push, but everyone's seen it today. All eyes are on that offensive line now when you look at the tush push. So they have to be careful. That was one con. The other con, Adoree Jackson, still not good. Not good. One play sticks out to me was the Thornton deep corner route he ran. Mahomes missed him. Luckily, Mahomes missed him, or else that would have been a touchdown. And he runs into Coop. Whole body was twisted. Turned around and he ran into Coop. I honestly think if he didn't even run into Coop, the way his body was turning, there's no way he wouldn't have been covering Thornton. That play, the outcome of that play would not have changed whether Adoree Jackson ran into Coop or not. It was insane. And then he got lucky on a coverage a few plays later against, I think it might have been a series later against Thornton. He got lucky. His shoulder pad deflected that ball. So, Adoree Jackson, I don't know what Fangio needs, but Bennett's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. He does. And then another thing that goes hand in hand, and it's my last con, the lack of weapons on the Chiefs' offense did not help Mahomes out at all. It helped the Eagles' defense out. It got them the win. It did. It really did. It really did. When you don't have weapons like that as a quarterback, as Patrick Mahomes, as a Kansas City Chiefs, after all the weapons Mahomes has had in his career, he's used to having weapons. He's used to relying on guys being there. He is used to having options in the pass game. That is what Patrick Mahomes is used to. He is inexperienced playing without weapons. And you've seen that today. Because then you just take risks at that point. You don't have weapons, you take risks. You got to fit balls in the very tight windows, what we seen on the Makuba interception. That's what happened. So the Eagles' defense got lucky. There were a lack of weapons on the Chiefs' offense. Absolutely. So there's still a lot of improvement to be made with this Eagles team. I mean, it's only week 2, though. So, again, don't hit the panic button, Eagles fans. It's a very, very tough win in Arrowhead against Kansas City Chiefs. That was a mental toughness win. It shows a lot of who this team can be, who they are mentally and who they can be. So that is all we have for today's episode. As always, stay up to date on Eagles latest by Fan Arch and like, comment, subscribe. We will see you guys next time.